Welcome you all for KLBiologyNEET. Today we are going to discuss the answers of NEET 2023 question paper. So you can see the first question. Which micronutrient is required for splitting of water molecule during photosynthesis? Is manganese, is option D. So second question says endark and exarch are the terms often used for describing the position of secondary xylem in the plant body. Statement 2, exarch condition is most common feature of the root system. Okay, so statement 1 is wrong, you all know it is for primary xylem, and statement 2 is correct. So that answer is coming in option 3. So 103 question, unequivocal proof that DNA is a genetic material. I hope you know, children, Ashian Chase, option A. So 104, the phenomena of pleiotrophism refers to. So one gene when it controls multiple characters, what we call it as pleiotrophism, is option B. So 105 is exposing the UV radiation DNA stains will give you the orange color, which is option C. So let us see the 106 question. Large colorful fragment flowers with nectar are to attract the insect. You know the insects are pollen robbers and nectar robbers. 107. Among eukaryotes, replication of DNA take place in S phase, the first two. All genes that are expressed as protein, option A. 109. Evil quarlet is considered most important cause for driving extinction of biodiversity is habitat loss and fragmentation. So 110 is ATP is used in 2 steps of glycolysis is very correct. We are using and first step in glucose 6-glucose 6-phosphate and fructose 6-fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Yes, both assertion and reason are true and R is the correct explanation is option D. 111 question, what is the function of tassels in the corn cob? They are dispersing the pollen grain, which is option B. And the historic convention on biological diversity Earth Summit held in Rio de Janeiro in 1992, which is option A. So 113 we have to identify which are the correct statements. Detritivores perform fragmentation. Then the humus is further degraded by some microbes during mineralization. So A is correct, B is also correct. Water soluble inorganic nutrients go down into the soil, get precipitated as leaching. So that is also correct. So A, B, C option we are getting in option 4. Option D is the correct answer. The reaction center for PS2 unga ellarku theriyo option is 4, 680 nanometer for 114. 115 axial placentation is observed in China rose, Malvaceae, Petunia, Solanaceae and lemon. Okay, so this is the answer option C. 116. In tissue culture experiments, leaf mesophyll cells are put in a culture media to form callus. This phenomena may be called as differentiation, option D. During purification process for recombinant DNA technology, addition of chilled ethanol precipitates what? It precipitates DNA. So 117 is option A. 118. Cellulose does not form blue color with iodine because it does not contain complex helix and hence cannot hold iodine molecule, option B. 119. Spraying which of the following phytohormone on juvenile conifers helps in hastening the maturity period that leads to early seed production is option A, gibberellic acid. 120. Identify the pair of heterospores Selaginella and Salvinia. The process of appearance of recombinant nodules occurs at which stage of prophase 1? Yes, it is in packaging. Unga ellarku theriyo crossing over angadha nadakkuradhu, so recombination also there only. 122. Which hormone promotes internode elongation? GA3 is very correct answer, which is option 4. 123. Frequency of recombination between gene pair on same chromosome as a measure of distance between genes to the map is Alfred Stewart, option B. How many ATP and NADPH2 are required for the synthesis of one molecule of glucose during Calvin's cycle? It is option A, 18 ATP and 12 NADPH2. This question we also discussed in KLBiologyNEET channel, children. So 125. Assertion and reason. First stage of gametophyte in life cycle of mouse is protonema stage. Protonema develops directly from spores produced in capsule. Yes, both are correct, but they didn't mention that protonema is a creeper. That explanation is lagging, so it is not a correct explanation for A. Both are correct. Option 1. 126 is, what is the role of RNA polymerase 3? Yes, of course, it transcribes tRNA, 5S RNA and small nuclear RNA. 127. The thickness of ozone is measured in Dobson unit. It is option D. 128. Statement 1. The forces generated by transpiration can lift a xylem sized column of water about 130 meter height is very correct, and transpiration cools leaf surface sometimes 10 to 15 degree by evaporating cooling. This is also correct. So both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Option is 4. 129. In the equation GPP minus R is equal to NPP, where R represents is respiratory loss. 130, that is option B, respiratory loss, children. 130. Family Fabaceae differ from Solanaceae and Liliaceae with respect to the stamens. Pick out the characteristics specific to family Fabaceae but not found in Solanaceae and Liliaceae. Yes, it is diadalpous stamen with dithecous anther is the correct answer. So 130 is option D. 131. In gene gun method is used to introduce alien DNA into host cell. Microparticles of dash metal are used, tungsten or gold. Option B is the correct answer for 131. 132. Movement or accumulation of ion across a membrane against their concentration gradient. Against their concentration gradient, yes, it is active transport. Which of the following stage of meiosis involves division of centromere? Centromere division happens in anaphase 2, which is option B. In angiosperm, haploid, diploid and triploid structure of fertilized embryo sac are, of course, haploid is synergid, diploid is zygote, endosperm is triploid. Option B. 135. Late wood has fewer xylary elements and narrow vessels. Yes, correct statement. Cambium is less active, so only it is happening. That is also correct and correct explanation. So option D is the correct answer for 135. 136. Melanate inhibits growth of pathogenic bacteria by inhibiting the activity of succinate dehydrogenase. Option D is the correct answer. 137, of course. So iron will do what? Iron will be activating the catalase, and zinc is for cell elongation and differentiation. Boron. No, zinc is for synthesis of oxygen. So where it is coming? A is 3 and B is 1, and boron will be for cell elongation and differentiation. Molybdenum for nitrate reductase. Of course, it is option B. For 137, it is option B. Which among the following statement is not correct? So, algal bloom caused by excess of organic matter in water improve water quality. It is not going to improve the water quality and it will kill the fish. So, this is the statement which is not correct. Option A. 139. Oxidative decarboxylation happens in pyruvate dehydrogenase. If you remember children, pyruvic acid to acetyl-CoA, that step. Glycolysis, otherwise called EMP pathway. Oxidative phosphorylation is electron transport. Citric acid cycle, of course, tricarboxylic citrate synthetase. So 139 is option C. 140. Which of the following statements are correct about Klinefelter syndrome? It is individual masculine development, feminine development is also expressed is correct. Okay, and such individuals are sterile. So option B is correct. It is a NCERT statement line. 141. Mutualism plus and plus, commensalism plus and 0, amensolism minus and 0, parasitism. So the answer will be option B. Yes. Then we will proceed to 142. So 142, cohesion means mutual attraction between molecule. Adhesion, attraction towards polar surface. Surface tension, more attraction in liquid phase. Guttation, water loss. So the option will be option D. 143. 143 statement 1, Gauss competitive exclusion principle states that two closely related species competing for the same resource cannot coexist indefinitely and competitively inferior one will be eliminated eventually. Statement 2, in general carnivores are more adversely affected by competition than herbivores. So the answer is option B. So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is false. Herbivores are most worstly affected than carnivores. Identify the correct statement for option 144. So lenticels are lens-shaped opening permitting the exchange of gas is very correct answer. And then bark refers to periderm and secondary phloem, that is also correct answer. So A and D are correct. So answer is option A. 145. In gymnosperm, the pollen grains are released from the microsporangium and carried by air current is very correct. Air current carry the pollen grain to the mouth of Archegonia where the male gametes are discharged and pollen tube is not formed. So answer is 2. A is true but R is false. 146. Main steps in the formation of recombinant DNA are given below. Rearrange the steps in a correct sequence is option D. First we are cutting the DNA and then we are isolating the desired DNA and we can amplify, insert to the recombinant DNA into the host cell. Option D is the correct answer. 147. 147, of course, M phase where we have equatorial division, and then G2 phase. Proteins are synthesized in G2 phase. Quiescent stage is inactive phase, and G1 is the interval between mitosis and initiation of DNA replication. So option B is the correct answer for 147. 148. How many different proteins does the ribosome consists of? 79 to 80 is the correct answer. Here we have 80 is given, so 80 is the correct answer. 149. 149 for chemoosmosis, what are the things we need? We need a membrane, a proton pump, a gradient and ATP synthetase, which means option 4. 150. So 150 assertion is flower is defined as modified shoot wherein apical meristem changes into floral meristem is very correct, and internode of the shoot gets condensed to produce different floral appendages laterally at successive node instead of leaves is also very correct. So A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. Option 4 is the correct answer. So botany we discussed children. Will continue with zoology now. So 151, which of the following is not considered as a part of endomembrane system? Of course, mitochondria, chloroplast and peroxisome won't be there. So A, C, E comes under option A. Then match the list 1 and list 2. Cartilaginous joint is between adjacent vertebra and vertebral column. Ball and socket between humerus and pectoral girdle. Fibrous joint in skull bone. So saddle you know. So the option will be option A. Select the correct Australian marsupial based on diagram of evolution children it is. It is lemur, anteater and wolf. Option C. 154. Which of the following statement is correct? Biomagnification refers to increase in concentration of toxicant at successive trophical level. Is the correct statement? It is option A. 155. Mating between relatives is option A. Two lines are coming between girl and boy is between consequent marriage, that is option A. 156. Which of the following technique does not serve the purpose of early diagnosis? Of course, it is not PCR, it is not ELISA or rDNA, it is serum and urine analysis. 157. P wave is of course depolarization of atria. Q wave is beginning of the systole. QRS complex, depolarization of ventricle, and of course the option is D. D option is the correct answer. 158. Broad palm with single palm crease. Crease means Down syndrome. 158. 4 is the answer. Then match 159. Peptic cells. Peptic cells, proenzyme pepsinogen. And goblet cells, mucus. Oxygenetic cell, HCl. Hepatic cell, bile juice. So option B. 159. 160. Which of the following statements are correct regarding female reproductive cycle? So it is non-primates, mammal will have the estrous cycle is very correct. Lack of menstruation may be indicative of pregnancy is also correct. Cyclic menstruation extends between menarche and menopause is also correct. So option is C, A, C and D is the correct answer. 161. Statement 1. Low temperature preserves the enzyme in a temporarily inactive state, whereas high temperature destroy enzymatic activity because proteins are denatured by heat. NCERT line 161 is correct statement. And statement 2, when inhibitor closely resembles the substrate in its molecular structure, inhibits the activity of enzyme is also NCERT line. Both the statements are true. Option 4. Once the undigested, unabsorbed substance enter the cecum, their backflow is prevented by ileocecal valve. 162 option A. 163. Matching the list 1 and list 2. Tinea, flame cells, A is 3. Paramecium, contractile vacuole, B is 2. Periplaneta, cockroach, uricose gland, so C is 4. Pertemia will have the nephridia, so the option is B. 164. 164 fovea, of course where the greatest visual acuity of resolution will be there, and then iris, visible colored portion, blind spot where optic nerve emerge out, sclera external layer, so option D is the correct answer. 165. RNA mutates at a faster rate is a correct statement. And statement 2, viruses are having RNA genome and shorter lifespan, mutate and evolve faster. Both the statements are correct, so option 4. 166. Match list 1 and list 2. Cholecystokinin, pancreatic juice. gastric inhibitory peptide, gastric gland, ANF, heart, ADH, kidney. So option D is the correct answer for 166. 167. Vital capacity formula, IRV plus ERV plus TV is the correct answer. So the answer is C. 168. Which of the following is not a cloning vector? Answer is probe. You know children, YAC and BAC are used in HGP. PBR322 is a well-known artificially synthesized cloning vector. Match list 1 and list 2 of question number 169. Answer is C, gene A, transacetylase, gene Y, permease, gene I is repressor protein, gene Z is beta galactosidase. So option is A. 1 is the answer. Then 170, given below two statement assertion and reason. Endometrium is necessary for implantation of blastocyst is very correct. And then reason, in the absence of fertilization, corpus luteum degenerates, that causes disintegration of endometrium. So 170, both A and R are true. And R is not the correct explanation. So there is no relation with the fertilization. Without fertilization, so answer is option A. There is no relation with corpus luteum and all that. Then 171. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and reason. Amniocentesis is a determination is one of the strategy for reproductive and child health care program. Yes, that is there. And ban on amniocentesis, increasing the female feticide not. So R is false, A is true, which is option 2. Then 172, we have to match heroin. Heroin will interfere with the transport of dopamine. And marijuana, effect on cardiovascular system. Cocaine. No. Heroin is a slow down body function. Marijuana is the effect on cardiovascular system. Cocaine only interfere with the transport of dopamine, and morphamine is a painkiller. Yes, it is option D, 172. 173. In which blood corpus cells HIV undergo replication is T helper cell, very correct answer. That is option D. Then 174, we have to match. So ringworm. Ringworm is Trichophyton. Filariasis voucheria, malaria, plasmodium vivax, pneumonia, Haemophilus influenza. So option is D. Which one of the following common sexually transmitted disease is completely curable? H cube is not curable. HIV, genital herpes, hepatitis. So curable is gonorrhea. So option A is the correct answer. We have to match. Vasectomy is a surgical method. Coitus interruptus is a natural method. Cervical cap is a barrier method. Fageli is a oral method. So 176 is option A. Radial symmetry we won't found in hemichordate. We found in echinoderm adult. Of course, Coelenterata ctenophora shows radial symmetry. So answer is A. 178. A protein is imagined as a line, the left end represented by first amino acid C terminal and the right end represents the last amino acid N terminal is false statement. Statement 2. Adult human hemoglobin consists of 4 subunit, alpha 2, beta 2 is correct. So statement 1 is false and statement 2 is correct. That is answer 3. 179. Assertion. Nephrons are two types of cortical and medullary nephron, correct statement. And reason, medullary nephron have shorter loop of Henle whereas cortical have long is wrong. So A is correct, R is wrong. Okay, medullary nephron only will be having longer loop of Henle, whereas cortical nephron will be having shorter loop of Henle. So A is true or is false, that is number 2 answer. Then 180. Which of the following function is carried out by cytoskeleton in a cell? Yes, it is motility, very correct. Motility, option B is the answer. 181. Ligaments are dense irregular tissue, wrong. Cartilage is dense regular tissue, that is also wrong. So 181, both statements are false, which is option A. 182, matching. A leopard and a lion in a grassland is competition. They are fighting for their food. Cuckoo in brood parasitism, fungi and a root mutualism, cattle or egret, everything is directly given answers. A1, B2, C3, D4 is option D. Then 183 statement, vasa deferentia receive a duct from seminal vesicle and opens into urethra as ejaculatory duct. Statement 2, the cavity of the cervix is called cervical canal, which along with vagina forms birth canal, which is correct. So both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. Option 4 is the answer. 184 statement 1, electrostatic precipitator is most widely used in thermal power plant. Yes. Electrostatic precipitator in thermal power plant remove ionizing radiation, not. It removes a particulate matter only. So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. Then 185. In prokaryotes, positively charged DNA, of course DNA is negatively charged, so statement is wrong. In eukaryotes, negatively charged DNA is wrapped around positively charged histone octamer, form nucleosome is correct. So statement 1 is wrong, statement 2 is correct, that is option C. For 185, option C. 186. Which of the following is not under the control of thyroid hormone? Of course, it maintains water and electrolyte. It also maintains BMR. It is not maintaining sleep-wake cycle. It is maintained by melatonin. Development of immune system is also under the control of thymus. So C and D, option B is the correct answer. 187. Which of the following statements are correct? Is an excessive loss of body fluid from the body switch off osmoreceptor. And then ADH facilitate water reabsorption to prevent diuresis. ANF causes vasodilation. So 187 is option B. A, B and E are correct. 188. In cockroach, excretion is brought about by, of course, uricose gland, nephrocytes and fat body. B, C and D, which is coming in option B. 189. Logistic growth is limited resource, exponential growth unlimited, opposite it is given. Expanding, of course, pre-reproductive is larger, stable is straight away. So option is D. D option is correct. 190 mast cells are found in areolar connective tissue, inner surface of bronchioli or ciliated epithelium, and blood is a specialized connective tissue. Tubular part of nephron we find cuboidal epithelium. So it is option B. B for boy. 191. During G0 phase, the cell cycle and the cell is metabolically inactive. No, it is active, NCRT line. And statement 2. The centrosome undergo duplication. Centriole only undergo duplication. So both the statements are incorrect. Option is number 1. A is the option. Answer. 192. Which of the following statements are correct? Basophils are most abundant cells of total WBC. No, they are least. Basophils secrete histamine, serotonin, heparin. Yes, correct. They are involved in inflammatory response. Yes, they involve. So B and C is the answer. So option is B option. The part of human brain that help in sexual behavior, expression, excitement is limbic system and hypothalamus. Option D for dog. And then 194, the unique mammalian characteristic, of course, we have hair, pinna and mammary gland. That is option A. 194. 195, which one of the following sequence or corresponding coding stand if the sequence of mRNA formed as follows? So if it is AUG, then coding stand should be as such mRNA. Instead of U, you have to write T. So ATC, GAT, so then CGA, ATC, GAT, that is coming in option 2. So 2 is the correct answer for 195. 196. Which one of the following is not an advantage of inbreeding? It increase homozygosity. So decrease homozygosity is wrong answer. That is the wrong option 4. 197. Which of the following is a characteristic feature of cockroach regarding sexual dimorphism? Presence of anal style in male. Female does not have anal style. Option A. 198. Select the correct statement. So during anaphase, centromere split and chromatid separate is very correct. And D, if you see nucleolus, Golgi complex and ER are formed during telophase. Answer is 1. B and D are correct statements. 199. Which of the following statements are correct regarding skeletal muscle? Which is option A. B and C only. So sarcoplasmic reticulum we have calcium ions, and striated appearance of skeletal muscle is due to actin and myosin protein. And last question, children. Select the correct statement with reference to the chordates. So it is, they have closed circulatory system, and then they have paired pharyngeal gill slits. So B and C are correct statement, which is in option A. Thank you all children.